You ever had one of those mornings that started off so ordinary, you could practically smell the oatmeal in the air, until, out of nowhere, your whole day takes a hard left? That's exactly how my Tuesday began in Oak Ridge Estates, a place so tight-knit that privacy is basically a rumor and everyone knows who Karen is, even if they wish they didn't. Yeah, that Karen. The one who treats every HOA guideline like it's gospel and basically lives to point out every crooked mailbox, every slightly rebellious flower bed, every time your trash can is out before 5 p.m. The queen of just following the rules, you know what I mean? So, I decided to switch things up. Instead of driving, I hopped on one of the new city buses. Not because my car was out of commission, but because, well, here's the twist nobody in town knows. I actually own the Oak Ridge Transit line. Whole thing, city contract, shiny new fleet, the works. I just wanted to see how the regulars did it. The second I sat down, coffee in hand, feeling like a spy in my own operation, in storms Karen, sunglasses, tote bag that practically screams, I correct strangers for fun, and that looked like she's about to issue a citation for breathing too loud. She scans the bus like she's expecting to catch someone mid-felony, and sure enough, she zeroes in on me. You can't have coffee on the bus, she snaps. Like she's ready to write me up on the spot. I almost spit my drink laughing, but I play it cool. Actually, it's allowed. She doubles down, starts ranting about city rules and how she reports rule breakers daily. Honestly, the irony was delicious. But then, she storms up to the driver. This man's breaking the rules. You have to kick him off. The driver, who's probably been through the Karen ringer more times than I can count, sighs. Ma'am, this bus line has its own set of regulations. Now she's fuming. Who even owns this company? That's my cue. I stand, smile, and say, that'd be me. The look on her face, pure goldfish. Open, close, open, close. She can't compute. You own it. Yep. Oak Ridge Transit. You're riding with the owner. Maybe check the rules next time. The bus quietly erupts with those snickers you only get when someone finally says what everyone's thinking. Karen, beet red, scuttles to the back and glares out the window. If looks could kill, my company would need a new CEO. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Oh no. Karen doesn't let things go. She lets them ferment. That night, she's home, venting to her long-suffering cat. Muffin about lawless bus people, literally stewing in her kitchen. She convinces herself that I must have lied about owning the buses, because if Karen doesn't know someone important in Oak Ridge, do they really exist? So, she does what all self-appointed neighborhood watch captains do, fires up Facebook, drops a post in the Oak Ridge Watchdogs group, and blows up my spot. Man claiming to own the city bus, breaking the rules, filing a report. Within minutes, the comments light up. Some back her up, some tell her to chill. Which, let's be honest, only fans the flames. She prints a grainy photo she took of me, highlights my face in red like I'm America's Most Wanted. I wish I was making that up. Next morning, I get bold and show up at the HOA meeting. Usually I avoid those like the plague, but today, something tells me this will be too good to miss. Sure enough, Karen's eyes go wide like she's seen a ghost. She leans over, whispers, then says loud enough for everyone to hear. Well, look who it is. The busman. I play along. Good to see you, Karen. She tries to put me on blast. Pretending to own city property is a crime. I almost lose it. Not pretending. Check the public records. Oak Ridge Transit LLC. All mine, all above board. Now everyone's whispering. Karen's face goes pale. She doubles down, of course. Doesn't excuse your behavior. Rules are rules. I just look her dead in the eye and say, so maybe follow mine next time you ride my bus. People crack up. For the first time, I see the Karen force field start to fizzle. But you know Karen. She's not going down without one last stand. Couple days later, I'm on a random route, hoping for peace. Who gets on at the next stop? Yep, Karen, clipboard, pen, righteous fury. She literally announces to the whole bus she's there to document violations. She's pointing out gum under seats, driver's sunglasses, graffiti. It's like she's running for bus cop of the year. Then, twist, some teenage kid at the front calls out, "Lady, HOA doesn't run the city buses." The whole bus loses it. Even the driver can't keep a straight face. Karen's mortified. She spins, storms to me, gets inches from my face. You think you're above the rules. I just say, calm as ever. No, Karen, I just think you confuse control with order. There's a difference. The whole bus falls silent. Then she spins on her heel and storms off at the next stop, leaving behind a whole lot of relieved passengers and, honestly, a pretty legendary meme moment. For a week, Oakage is quiet. The viral Facebook posts are everywhere. Karen versus the busman. And even the city newsletter runs a little blurb about her losing her cool. She vanishes for a while. No patrols, no meetings. The neighborhood breathes easy. Jokes fly around about giving me a medal for finally shutting Karen up. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy the peace. Then, just when I think the whole saga is over, my office gets a call. There's someone here to see you. She says her name's Karen. For a split second I think I'm getting served, but instead she comes in with a tin of cookies. She looks normal, maybe even a little sorry. She sits down, says she owes me an apology. For a second, I'm speechless. She admits she got caught up in her own pride, thought she was protecting the community, but maybe she was just trying to control it. I tell her, I never wanted to embarrass you, Karen. Just wanted to have a coffee on my own bus. She laughs, really laughs, for the first time, and tells me she tried to report me to the city, but the only complaint they got was about her. Something shifts in that moment. She says it's exhausting being the person everyone avoids. Says maybe it's time she focused less on rules and more on living. I tell her, start by riding the bus without a clipboard. She grins, actually grins, and before she leaves, says, your buses really are clean. Just maybe put a trash can in the back. Noted. As she leaves, I realize even the most stubborn people can change if they're willing to see things from another angle. That night, I ride the bus home again, coffee in hand, watching the sun dip over Oakage. The ride's peaceful, no yelling, no lectures, just the quiet hum of people minding their own business. For the first time, Oakage feels like a community again. But let me ask you, when's the last time you stood up for a little common sense or called out a Karen in your own life? Did it work out, or did it blow up in your face? Tell me your story in the comments. Who's really right here, the rule keepers or the ones who bend them? I can't wait to hear where you land on this one. But you know what's funny? After that peaceful bus ride, I thought things might finally settle down in Oakage. Maybe Karen had really changed. Maybe I could just go back to being the anonymous bus owner, drinking my coffee in peace while the city rolled on. But old habits die hard. And the universe in this town? It's got a weird sense of humor. It started a week later, subtle at first. A couple of those HOA flyers slipped under my door, worded a little nicer than before. Community cleanup day, join the welcome committee, that sort of thing. I figured, maybe Karen was actually trying to make amends, go positive. You know? But then I noticed something odd. Other folks around the neighborhood, people who'd always kept their heads down, who used to cross the street to avoid her, were suddenly showing up to these events. They were, I kid you not, smiling. And Karen? She was there, but not barking orders. Not even carrying her clipboard. Just quietly helping set up tables, pouring lemonade, like she was auditioning for a role in How to Be a Better Neighbor. I gotta admit, I was suspicious. Oakage isn't exactly a place that forgives and forgets overnight. So one afternoon, out of pure curiosity, I walked over to the park where they were painting the new benches, something Karen would have had a field day micromanaging before. Instead, I found her laughing with Mrs. Alvarez from down the street. And that kid Jake, the one who roasted her on the bus. For a split second, it looked like a TV commercial, sunshine, chatter, even someone tossing a frisbee. I almost didn't recognize her. So I walked up, said hi, and she smiled. Glad you made it, she said, handing me a brush. I played along, sat on the edge of the bench, and started painting, just watching, not saying much. I waited for the other shoe to drop, for her to start bossing people around, but she just didn't. Instead, halfway through the afternoon, she pulled me aside. Look, I know I made a mess of things, she said, a little embarrassed. I was so used to being in charge, I forgot what it meant to just be part of something. That could have been the whole ending. A quiet redemption, roll credits. Right? But then, right when you think Oakage has finally run out of drama, a new guy moves into the old Benson house at the edge of the neighborhood. Tall, quiet, the type who parks his pickup truck. Half a tire over the line, doesn't wave, barely says a word. Next thing you know, People start complaining about someone grilling at midnight or leaving Christmas lights up into March. At first, the old Karen would have been on his case with a vengeance. But now, she looks at me, shrugs, and says, maybe he just needs a little time to adjust. We were all new here once. And right there, you could feel the entire neighborhood watching, half expecting her to snap back, half hoping she wouldn't. She doesn't. Not even when the new guy's dog digs up the community flower bed. She just helps fix it, makes a joke about her own reputation for enforcement, and everyone laughs. Even me. So, I guess what I'm saying is, sometimes people surprise you. Sometimes the villain of the story figures out they were never really the hero, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it takes getting called out, going viral, or just one painfully awkward bus ride to shake things up. Or maybe, just maybe, it takes the whole community being willing to let somebody change, instead of keeping score forever. Now, Oakage isn't perfect. Heck, nowhere is. But on quiet evenings when the sun sets, just right over the transit line, and you can smell someone grilling from 3 houses down, it feels like a place where people can actually get a second chance. Even Karens. So let me throw it back to you. Do you believe people really change, or do they just learn to act differently when everyone's watching? Have you ever given someone a second chance, only to be surprised? Or burned? Drop your thoughts below, because honestly, I'm dying to hear how your neighborhood handles a little chaos, and whether you think Oakage is finally on the right track, or just waiting for the next wild ride. And hey, if you ever find yourself on a city bus, coffee in hand, and someone tells you the rules, just smile. You never know who's actually in charge.